Welcome on back. Wild Willy here with, I think it's episode 19 or 20. I'm kind of losing track because I'm filming these back to back at this point, and I start to not remember, a couple hours in. But anyway, we are back at Roundtable Hold. We just went and got our armor set. Our final armor set. We can't quite rock all of it with our current stats, so let's go through that. We are level 73, 41 vigor, 10 mind, which is base, 26 endurance, 20 strength, 18 dex, 10 intelligence, which is base. We have our 15 faith, so we can use blood flame blade, flame grant me strength, and flame cleanse me. And then we have 12 arcane, so that we can use our dragon incantations. Okay, so from here on out, we are going to run around and do a few things. Gonna take us back up to the Altus Plateau, or nearby. We're gonna start down here at the Grand Lift of Dectus, and we're gonna go tackle. We're gonna get one more Flask upgrade, one more Sacred Tier. We're gonna take on Vike in Invasion. We're gonna take on the Frenzy Flame Tower. I'm going to try to show you a cute little skip that you can do to reach this area. And if that doesn't work and I die, I'm going to show you the foolproof way to just ride through and not have to fight the Frenzy Tower, which might lead you dying. So let's try to avoid that. So anyway, we just want to come out here and we want to start riding up. Okay, and you can't see it. We'll be able to see it in a minute. There's the Frenzy Tower. When we get closer to it, the Eye of Sauron, it's going to spawn, and it's going to start proccing Frenzy on us, and it'll do damage. So we want to kind of start riding over here towards the cliff face. There it goes. And there's a giant rat over here. Now we can see the Frenzy bar building up. We need to get a little closer to have cover. Okay. And you can hear it. I'm going to go ahead and heal up. And it's going to run for a certain amount of time. When it takes a break, we're going to run across. We're going to run around here, and you can see it over here. There's a spirit spring. So we're going to chill for a second. So the goal of this is we want to run up, and we're going to take it at an angle so that we're running in towards the cliff, not just randomly up. And it's gonna take us up to the tower, and there's a wall that we can try to land on with Torrent that we can just hop around and immediately kind of get into the tower and not have to climb a ladder. If that doesn't work, we're gonna be at the base of the tower. That thing's gonna be doing frenzy at us, and there are gonna be some frenzy rats. There's gonna be a big one, and then there are gonna be like 2 or 3 little ones. Let's just assume 3 in case I'm wrong. And we would need to take them out or just climb the ladder real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and take my flask. We are going to reverse course and hop up, and there's the tower, and we want to land on that wall. And now we can hop around, and you're in. So that's the point where you want to hop up and drop on that wall, and then from the wall you can hop around the wall, and we're inside the tower. We can't see the flames, so we're good. So we can see down there's the big mama rat that I was telling you about, and there's at least 2. There might be a 3rd one, but I said I wasn't sure. So if you miss, you can start over again, do the run back. There's a little loot that we can grab here. And then there is a grace, like over there behind the hilltop, like where those trees are. You can drop behind the hill and grab a grace if you ride up the hard way. So what you want to do is you want to wait here, and we're taking frenzy damage. You can see that. So what you want to do is wait until it's gone. We might take a little bit of damage when we come up here. It's going to proc again. We just hopefully won't get a Magnus proc. Kill those 3 guys. And it's dead. Okay, so now we can just hop down. We can hop down here, and then we can just summon Torrent. And to recap, where we came from was right over here. And I missed the wall, but that's the wall you want to... We can do it again, just to show you. Now that the frenzy thing is dead. It's over there, so I want to go over here a little bit. So I don't die. Die to gravity, let's hop down. And I'll show you that again. So we came from over there. We were hiding under the cliff. You want to come around here towards the cliff edge, and then you want to orient yourself towards the tower, which is up there. So when you hop up, again, you want to aim for this piece of broken wall. And that's pretty easy to land on. There's even a shiny to aim for. And then it is hop and hop again. So you want to wait until you're already hopped all the way around before you hop again. Worst case scenario, you land down here with the rats and you got to fight them. Okay? Now the goal for that is to stay close to the tower so that it's not chucking the frenzy bullshit at you. Okay? These are rats. They are frenzy rats. But you should, again, even if you are unlucky and miss that thing and end up down here with the rats, you should be able to just beat them down. Okay? Be aggressive, go right at them, and beat them down. So now we're going to ride over here towards those trees like I was talking about, towards this rock. We're going to go ahead and drop on down, and there's a grace. Now the hard way is that what a lot of people do without that little skip that I just showed you is you have to come up the ravine down there where my head is. You come up the ravine and then you're kind of sneaking up there and hiding behind those rocks, and then you have to rush the tower. I'll just show you. It'll only take a second. So you can come up here and be safe. The strategy I used to do in the old days is you would come in here and you see this rock and they kind of give you a clue, like you come up here and then you can hide behind this and time the tower. Okay, and then you would come over here and have to fight the rats, or you'd come over here and hop and do the hop trick and not have to fight the rats. But that was the way that you would typically do it. And I respawned the rats because I rested at the site of grace. So anyway, let's go back to the grace and then we're going to proceed. There's our grace. Let's see if I can pull up the map. We're headed that way. So what we're going to do is it's at the Frenzy Flame Village. You're going to head over here. And then you're going to run up here. And then you're going to run over here towards the entrance of the church. And somewhere around here, Viket's going to spawn. And we're just going to run right past him and run inside the church and grab the grace. And then we're going to turn around and fight Vike. So again, NPC Invader, Bloodhound Steppe, the Weapon Ash is your best friend. He can proc Madness. If we die, I'll show you another way that you can beat him. It involves hopping off the cliffs back here, and he hops off after you, and he, dies to gravity. I didn't mean to do that. We're already on Torrent. So just head on out. And I kind of put the marks, they're all kind of in the same direction. Just gonna ride through here. There really isn't any meaningful loot. I think there's like one thing in here that's worth grabbing. Frenzy Flame Cookbook lets you craft like frenzy pots and stuff. Use those in PvP. But this is why we want to kill that tower, because we come through here, that tower is gonna proc frenzy on you all the way up the hill. So we come up here, we see the little dude, the little kind of ghost that you could talk to. We're going for our second mark and heading up towards the entrance of the chapel. And as soon as we get kicked off our horse, now we know that, the invasion is about to happen. He's going to spawn in right by the entrance. And we don't care. We're just running. I just ran right past him. Hasn't even aggroed to us yet. Now our stamina is draining. But you want to get in here and you want to touch the grace and we're good. So now here he comes. You can turn around and fight him. He's gonna... Don't let him do that to you. Again, weapon art for the win. But even if you get unlucky, he proc Madness on us. Probably gonna die because he's gonna heal. Let's see if I can just beat him down and finish him off. And I did. Okay, so he's dead. So again, R1 spam, you get the fingerprint grape and Vike's War Spear. There's our Sacred Tear. This gets you the Finger Maiden set. Like I said, if we hadn't been lazy, we could come over here and do the Lord of Blood's Favor for Moog, but let's just go ahead and rest here and level up our Flask. Okay, so we are done with that. We have our Flask upgrade. Now we're going to kind of hop back over here to the outer wall perimeter grace, and we're going to go into a cave right over here. So I ran through all of our marks. They're all gone. We're going to go back here. If you remember, the tree sentinels, the sentinel knights, are going to be out here waiting for us, and we're just going to run past them. You can fight them. You're probably going to beat their ass, especially with the mimic. But again, beginner friendly. We'll leave them as a puzzle for you to figure out later on. So when we go to the right and drop down, there's going to be a big Miranda flower. Ride past him. He's going to aggro. Doesn't matter. Just hop on over. See the Miranda flower spouting poison. We just want to run on past that and down here. Okay? And we rest at the grace. De-aggro all of that stuff. All right, so now going in here, now that we have the grace, we de-aggroed everything, you are going to need to run back outside and kill that thing if you want to fast travel, because I think it's going to aggro to us. There's also a rune bear down to the right. But anyway, we're going to go through the cave, and this is to clear the path so that we can get the Arsenal Charm +1, which will hopefully give us the equivalent that we need. So there's some perfumers in here and some more of another Miranda flower that we can kind of run past or fight. Okay, you can kind of see them down there. There's a perfumer. There's a Miranda flower with another perfumer. We can avoid them. Stay to the right. I'm talking softly like they can hear me. That one might aggro if you go too close to him, so okay, they're right, and we are just hung on the right-hand side of the wall and coming in here. So now there's another Miranda flower, and there's going to be another perfumer down there. So let's go ahead and buff on up. Okay, and go ahead and refill our flask. Two-hand, and then we just want to kill the perfumer first, because he's going to chuck bullshit at us. Kill that thing, and now we can just wail on this thing. Again, I'm just trying not to die here. Oh, not what I wanted. Meant to drink that. So there's two of the mobile ones, and then the rest of them are attached to the base. That's the other mobile one. You get all the little poison bloomy stuff. Destroy all their boxes because they were mean to us. I think there's like one more little loot. Couple loots we can grab in the chest here. Nothing good. This stuff is whatever. Just grabbing it because it's here. Jar shard. Perfume bottle. So next up, we're going to come out here, and there's going to be another one of those Estelles, the hanging creatures that chuck stuff at you. And the safest way to handle them, instead of fighting them out on the branch, is just come on here, lock on, throw two kukris, and then we're going to just run around the pillar here. And they're going to chuck all the gravity sorceries at you. And then come out here, chuck another one. Not doing great damage with the kukris, but whatever. I mean, we want to kill this thing, because it doesn't respawn. So yes, I am that guy who is patient enough to run around a corner and chuck kukris at it until it's almost dead. If you're brave, you want to fight it, go right ahead. It's not a horrible run through back through the cave. You just got to fight the Miranda flower again. You can also like pull out your bow and shoot it with your bow if you run out of kukris. You got options. But again, beginner friendly, being safe, not fighting something over a bind where a fall is certain death is not beginner friendly. Chucking kukris while locked on, standing on a ledge, very beginner friendly. Nope, I got greedy. Took a little chip damage there. Alright, and it's dead. So what we are going for, again, that's another dungeon over there. That's where you get the Somber Miner's Bell Bearing 2. We would be climbing up that route, which you could kind of barely see. So what we have to do is we come through that doorway there, we drop down onto the route, and then we have to climb all the way up. And the route is slippery. Like that, like every time, you know, my stomach, like, it's scary. You can fall, you die, whatever. That's why we killed this thing, because when we go through there, this thing will not be chucking shit at us while we're trying to climb that route. So there are a couple of little baby Miranda flowers in here that you want to take out and grab the loots. And then we got another boss fight. The boss fight is going to be an Omen Killer and another one of the Miranda flowers. So that's why we didn't use our flask or anything like that. Here, go ahead and take another boiled crab. I would go ahead and heal up. We're going to go through, pop the Mimic, heal up again, and then we're going to run for our lives because the Omen Killer is going to be after us. I would go after the... I would get away from him, let the Mimic take aggro, heal up, and you can already see what damage the Mimic is doing to him. I'm going to Blood Flame Blade up, and then I'm just going to go beat the shit out of this thing. And the Mimic... The Omen Killer's already dead. The Mimic has already killed it. You might get poisoned. It doesn't matter. You have Flame Cleanse Me. Like, that's how that fight's gonna go. You just need to get in there and let the Mimic take aggro so that you can heal up from summoning, and then you can get into the fight. So you get the Omen Killer Cleaver, and more importantly, we are done with the cave and can just warp back to the entrance. And I'm going to run inside and rest, refill my flask, because we have to kill that thing before we can fast travel. I'm going to try and sneak out and see if we can't fast travel away. Okay, so we don't have to kill it. So we're done with that. And I just went back to Round Table Hold because that's the easiest way to get out of it. Now we are going to do the other half of that cave, which we picked up in an earlier episode. The Altus Tunnel. We're going to come over here and we are going to grab the Arsenal Charm +1. And we're going to finish running through the cave and get the Somber Bell Bearing from... Alright, so we have this dude. Beat him down. Remember, these guys are weak to strike, and we're not doing strike damage, but at +10 Bloodhound's Fang, you're just going to beat them down. And this, you don't want to run through because they have the little marionette soldiers. The little winged dudes there. So you want to aggro him, and ideally, let's see if we can aggro the other one. And then you want to back up into the tunnel where we came. And they should come in here for us. And he's going to jump and swoop on in, and you should be able to just whack him out of the air. Here comes the other one. Okay, so that's kind of the worst part of it. There's going to be a Glintstone Sorcerer. He's aggroed and come down. Let's kill him. Put my lantern on so I can see. And that should be it as far as shit dropping on us. We don't need to go that way. Now you just kill miners and grab stuff up. Smithing Stone 5s are definitely worth grabbing. Okay. That's the boss. Don't want to go that way yet. So we want up. There's one more. There's one more that's like up there, and I guess if you go far enough into the room. Up, nope, he's still there. That guy. You gonna come down and play with us? Yes, you are. All right, so go ahead and kill him. And then there's a miner to take out over here. All right. So now this is what I was talking about. If we had come in here earlier and you look up over there, that Estelle thingy would be hanging from the ceiling. And that's where we came out of, that little glowy area. We were chucking kukris at it until it died. So this is why this part is so sketch. So you got to drop down here onto this. And then I think there's a couple of snails here. I don't even think there's loot. There's one little piece of loot. Okay. And I don't ever get this. I was just kind of wondering what was over here. And that's why. It's a glintstone scrap. So when you come through here, don't grab it. So we got to hop up on this. And then we got to come up on here. And you got to be very careful because it's easy to run off the other side. And then you got to proceed along. There's another snail. We'll come and get him in a minute and hop over. And we have our arsenal charm. And I'm going to just go ahead and check now on our equipment. We are going to get rid of our regular one. And we're going to switch to our +1. And can we put on the gauntlets? We still can't. Okay. So probably need some more endurance. Because like on my level 92 character, I believe I was like 30 endurance was where I landed at. There were more stats to get. I had more strength for sure, and I had more endurance. So let's drop down. We got to kill the snail. Then we're going to proceed through the dungeon. Golden Rune 7. And we are going to proceed. To come back in here. This guy, nice of him to leave me some loot. Number 5. That is not a guaranteed drop. That's very nice of him. So we're going to come in here. There are more snails. Bunch of snails. If you run past them, they will aggro. Eventually. So you just can come over here and start whacking them before they spawn. And one more behind us. There we go. And little loot over here. Another smithing 5. And I believe there's another loot right back over here. Another smithing 5. Okay. So we have 2. There are 2 of the Crystallians. That's what they're called. It was escaping me for a moment. Again, they are weak to blunt. So if you've leveled up your Great Shards more, you can whip that out. But again, plus Bloodhound's Fang, we're just going to wing it. So up our flask, take our crab. There's one that chucks stuff at you, so I'm going to go after that one first. Whichever one the mimic deals with, that's fine. With 2 on 2, it's kind of even. And again, a heavy attack to your friend, you want to stagger them. Once you stagger them, you poise break them. They start taking more damage. So I'm going after the one with the rings because she's the one who chucks shit at you. I want to say that I feel like because of the hair that they're girls. I don't know. All right, so there's the poise break. Now we're gonna do a ton of damage to this one when we hit it. Poise break the other one. And you should give it's again that easy. I didn't hail. I'm just R1 spamming. So now we have the Somber Miner Spell Bearing 2. And we can warp back to the entrance to the cave. Let's run outside so that we can warp. All right, status-wise, we have enough to get a level. So let's go do that. Let's see if we can get another point into endurance at the round table. And if that will allow us to equip our greaves. Because we do want stamina for the upcoming fight. There's a couple other things we can check on too while we're doing this to kind of wrap up this episode before I think about how we are going to proceed. So go ahead and level up. Chuck a point into endurance. Check again. See if we can put on our greaves. Get the full set. Medium load. Will you look at that? Okay. So that's the magical point. 27 endurance. So let's go ahead and throw that on. And there it is. This is the finished equipment setup. We have 13 flasks that are plus 10. I put plus 9 in the video description, the walkthrough description, so I over-delivered by getting that last one for us. We have a plus 10 Bloodhound's Fang. We have a plus 10 Mimic. We are rocking the Crucible tree set, so we are very well protected. I'm going to come over here and talk to Brother Corwin, who just arrived. Our first time talking to him. There's one other thing we want to just pick up. I see it. That'll allow us to turn him into a little incantation vendor. Catch Flame, you can do builds just with that. It's 600, so I'm going to go ahead and pick it up. But what we are after is this guy right here, Heal. We're going to want that for Revenants later on in the game. So just make sure we have it and not be like, dang it. You know, you can kill a Revenant with a heal. I don't have heal. Brother Corwin moved. I can't find him. Just grab it now. Okay? The reason we got Flame Grant Restraint is that each one of these, Flame Fortification, Magic Fortification, Cure Poison, these are going to reduce your damage. This is going to get rid of poison. But Flame Cleanse Me will get rid of Deathlight buildup. It'll get rid of Frost buildup. This only gets rid of poison. So that's why we got to 15 faith.
May the golden order shine.
The other thing I wanted to do real quick is we beat Radon and we come in here. We can receive equipment. So if you don't like the Crucible set, you can buy the Radon set. But the problem with that, the reason I like the Crucible set, it is lighter. Okay? The Radon set is arguably, just as good, if, maybe a little bit better, but it's heavier. So if you're willing to farm and get your endurance up to 32, you might be able to rock the Radon set. But I'm, trying to spare you from some of that farming there to get that up that high, because, with the level we're at, we are good to go fight Moog. The other thing that we can do, power from the Remembrance. There are a couple things that we can get here. We don't have the strength to use it right now, or the intelligence, but I would recommend getting the Scar Surge Greatsword. And the reason for that is the Ash of War on it is... All right, let me get away from her so we can pull it on out and look at it. Okay, so Starcaller Cry. When you two-hand the weapon, you raise it up into the air and you slam it down to the ground, and it draws everything to you, and you repeat it and it blasts them away, and it does a big AoE. Now you might see that people at the end of the game, they get the Sacred Relic Sword and they go back to Mogwin's Palace and they're farming the Albanurics. It's a quicker way to level up than shooting the bird, because you can get 50,000 runes in a trip. And with the Relic Sword, you just kind of run towards the hill and you go whee, and you do the Ash of War, and you run down the hill and you do the Ash of War again, and you run to the bottom and do the Ash of War one more time for the 4 soldiers coming up the hill, and then you just warp back to the Grace and repeat. Well, we haven't beaten the game. We haven't even gone into the capital, as a matter of fact. We can, you can get to that from Deeproot Depths. There is a teleporter. We could run through and start do Fia's quest line to get to there, to get you into the capital without beating the Crucible Knight that's outside. But so you get in either way. But this, when we level up strength and we get strength, if we two-hand, we have 30 strength, and we drink our physic, we have 40. Then we could go get the intelligence tier and put that in our flask with the strength here, and then we would have 40 strength and 20 intelligence, and we would meet the requirements for the weapon to use the Ash of War, so you could use this to farm instead of farming the bird. So I might do that up, leveled up, just to show you guys how that works. I would need to show you where to grab the intelligence here. But anyway, we're at 30 minutes, so I'm going to wrap up here. I will catch you all in the next episode of the walkthrough, and we will proceed from there. But we are pretty much at the end.